Hey folks, welcome back to our Dice Tower preview. I'm Mark, and today we're taking a look at the new expansion to Honey Buzz Fall Flavors. Honey Buzz Fall Flavors is brought to you by Elf Creek Games. It's for 1 to 4 players, ages 10 and up, and games generally run 45 to 80 minutes. So, in Honey Buzz, the base game, it is a worker bee placement game where you, the players, expand your personal beehive by drafting various honeycomb tiles. These tiles grant actions that are triggered throughout the game. Each tile represents a different action. Whenever a tile is laid so that completes a certain pattern, a ring of actions is triggered in whatever order you so choose. A tile drafted on turn 1 could be triggered up to 3 times at any point during the game. It all depends on how you place your beeples and how you build your hive. After all, in the honey business, efficiency is queen. But now, Sweetwater Grove is all abuzz, with honey on the lips and minds of all the woodland creatures. Thanks to the hard work of the accountants like you, the Queen's honey stand is up and running. But now, fall has arrived and winter is coming. Her Majesty has given her workers new responsibilities. Harvest and sell fruit from the fall crop. Decorate the hive with colorful autumn leaves. Cap and store nectar for the winter. And send retiring workers to be honored at the Harvest Festival before the sun sets on Sweetwater Grove. So strike up the waggle dance, it's time for business. So, Fall Flavors is an expansion that introduces 5 new modules for Honey Buzz, and you can mix and match these however you see fit. But this preview assumes that you know how the base game plays. I'm not going to do a deep dive into that. Instead, we're going to look at all these new modules, at least briefly. So let's take a quick look at each. So let's kick things off here with the Fall Fruit module, because this is really the biggest part of the expansion. As in the base game, you have the board that represents spring. Well, you're going to be replacing that board with the fall board, where you will forage in a new field of flowers and collect fruit instead of pollen. Sell your collected apple, pears, and pumpkins at the market, or save them up to complete special orders. So on this main board, you'll still have your nectar tiles, but in the middle of the nectar tiles, you'll see certain types of fruit that you can collect and get points and money from the market. And then there's different types of things in the market as well, which is really nice. You also have your standard small and large order cards at the bottom here, but you also have your new cards that are fruit orders that you'll be tapping into through the course of the game as you spin that fruit and so forth to complete these cards and get the points associated with them. But most of the other things of the game are basically here. You still have your workers and you're using them to pick up tiles and all that for this module. But again, you have more options for adding in new tiles here. But the nectar is all going to work pretty much the same. You just have an option of picking up fruit. As you move across the board, pick up the different types of nectar and fruit for the marketplace. Now, there's a little bit different configuration with the tiles, but again, it's based on the player count, how you lay these out. Next, let's take a look at the Autumn Leaves module. Now, you're going to be collecting leaves found on new leafy hive tiles as a means to decorate your hive for the queen. You'll be scoring points for the leaves in your hives based on the foliage card in play. So, at the start of the game, you'll be shuffling up these foliage cards, picking one, and putting it in the queen's contest area or somewhere nearby where you can keep track. And then you've got like 36 new tiles, and you're going to be removing 6 from each of the current stacks from the base game and then putting them into those stacks, shuffling them up. Now, you cannot be searching through a stack to find one. It's just when it's revealed, you have the option of picking it up with all kinds of different leaves and such on each of these tiles, giving you all those different options for scoring at the end of the game based on the foliage card that's in play. And then we have the Nectar Caps module. So you'll be putting caps on your nectar tiles to prepare for winter, basically locking them off from earning nectar through the course of the game. But nectar caps are worth lots of points, and they might even earn you trophies if you have the most and so forth. But they do slow down your economy because, again, they capped off the nectar and you can't produce nectar in those spots. So the thing is that you'll have a set of the trophies and these caps, and depending on the player count, will determine how many of these caps get put into play. But you'll put them in descending order, and then on the accounting action, you can still take the 5 coins if you choose, but instead you have this new option of taking a cap and putting it on one of your nectar spots, earning you potentially points and the trophies at the end of the game. So you do want to grab obviously from the top of the stack, getting the most valuable and so forth, but it is a new addition, a new way of thinking about how to get points later. And if you have the most, again, of these nectar caps, you're going to get the first place trophy, which is worth like 10 points. And then we have the Harvest Festival module. Now, this has a new board and some new cards, and based on the player count will determine how many of these cards get placed on the board. And they're going to allow you to score and so forth. But you're going to be trimming your labor force by retiring your workers and sending them off to the Harvest Festival. And so as each of these workers retires, you can choose whether they propose a toast or work one last time. So if they propose a toast, then you'll gather one of the cards from the board, and these cards are going to be scored right away. So like for this one, you'll get 2 points per order card that you have in hand already. So lots of different options for these cards, lots of different ways to get points, obviously. But you can also work one last time, but it is going to be removed from your player board. You actually have spots on this new board to place those workers. Now, the thing is that if you choose to work one last time, you're going to use the decree option or action, and that just allows you basically to do any of the other 5 actions that you have available to you for what were from the base game. So lots of different things as you combine all these modules together, absolutely. And finally, we have Sweetwater Sunset. So in this one, we're going to use a new sunset board to track the progress towards the end of the game. Now, I don't have that sunset board in this prototype, so instead they had me use a pollen marker in the fruit track to keep an eye on that as you move through the course of the game. But you see, the thing is that when the sun sets in Sweetwater Grove, winter has arrived and the game will end. And so this module should always be included no matter which of the other modules that you're playing with. Now, there's all kinds of triggers here, and you've got a handy reference card that moves that along the track. So the big one though is that if there's a last order in a stack, and the stack of cards at the bottom of the board is completed, well, that will move it 2 spots. But everything else is pretty much going to move at 1 spot, like the last nectar is taken from the nectar field, or the last hive tile in a stack is taken, things like that. But you do have that reference card to help guide you towards the end of the game. All right, folks, just a reminder once again, this has been a Dice Tower paid preview, and everything you've seen here has been in prototype form. Well, for the expansion anyway. I do have the base game as well. But the thing is that there's so many new options and modules here. Again, you can choose which ones you want to put into the game, but I played with all of them just to try it out. And I thought they all worked really well. Even all together, they worked really well. I like the new tiles for the leaves to decorate, around your hive and so forth, giving you different types of points based on the card in play. And of course, the Fall Festival stuff, which is a brand new action that you have available to you. So you have all those new cards as well for the fruit, completing those fruit orders. And there's just a lot of new variants in the game, giving you a lot of new options. And, for capping off your hives, trying to fulfill that to get the trophies at the end of the game. But those new ways to get points adds a lot of new flavor to the game. But folks, ultimately, if this looks like something that would be of interest to you, I'm sure they'd appreciate your support. So I think that's it for me. And until next time, we'll see you at the table.